No, I'm not going to do that, Gareth. Right, moving on. Hello, good evening, welcome along to the Jackocar Cup series. Jimmy Griffiths is now telling the whole chat what Gareth's username is, which is helpful. We are here already in the Season 12 playoffs. Can you believe it? It is round 11 of the Season 12 Championship. As you can see, we are in Japan. We've got one Jackocar driver tonight. We'll get onto him later on. But, yeah, as we were discussing before we started here, this is an eliminator. Every race from here right up until round 16 is an eliminator race of some description. The chase drivers have 3 rounds to sort of sort themselves out. But with the playoffs, every driver is at threat here. And yeah, if you finish today at the bottom of the playoffs, you're out. Same with next week and so on and so forth. But till we're left with 4 drivers in the playoffs, so 6 weeks, 6 drivers eliminated, 1 driver every week, nice and simple. And then for the chase, there'll be sort of more sort of staggered eliminations, and that'll leave them with 4 as well for a Championship 4 event in round 16. So plenty to happen, plenty to look forward to. But we will start in Japan, which is an awful race every time we come here. Let's be honest. But thank goodness we've got 20 drivers here to try and make something of it, Jacko.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Thank you, Owen. Or should I say, call me Daddy, Owen. I don't know if it quite flows off the tongue how I would like it to. But anyway, Konnichiwa, as they say in the depths of Japan. Exciting,
Do you reckon Gareth
to...
would be allowed in the country with that name?
Maybe. I don't know. Not a clue. But anyway, you interrupted me.
Sorry.
As you've already alluded to. Elimination, I may as well briefly explain it. Playoff drivers. Every single week we lose 1 driver until we're left with the 4, as usual, that advance to Championship 5. The chase drivers, the first 3 weeks is like any other playoff round like we've seen in the past. And then we lose 2 drivers at the end of that round, and then the week after we lose 2, and the week after we lose another 2. That leaves us with 4 drivers. Of those 4, one of them, there will be the highest finishing driver, will advance to the Championship 5, but they have to beat the other 3 on the day. So really, for the chase drivers, it's just about making it to that sort of mini Championship 4, and then run your luck. It could be anybody. It's going to be the most exciting chase we've ever had. And then, of course, that would leave us with 5 for the inevitable Championship 5 when we go to Mexico on December the 18th. It's all very exciting. The new format and a new post-season begins here in the Jackocar Cup Series.
Indeed it does. And I'm just going to quickly fix my audio levels, which would be useful, so I can actually hear you. But just a bit of housekeeping. We've got 3 drivers not qualifying in this session, and they'll be Corey Dalton, what's his face, MK Bourne, Mike Kelterborn, and Casper Klein, who of course won the last race to take. I mean, no one really cares about the regular season championship, but it was a surprising regular season championship win, considering Arnaud was sort of dead set the absolute definite winner until he wasn't. He crashed out of that race, and Casper Klein crossed the line and won in Austria to nick it by a point. So he doesn't get to qualify, and in a race where you've got 20 drivers, that's a bit of a nightmare. And this is going to be really interesting for the playoffs, because if you win a race in the playoffs and then have a qualifying ban for the next week, if things go bad enough for you, you could still be eliminated, right? You know, you start last, end up in the wall, finish in P20, you know, it could be an absolute disaster. So it'd be really interesting to see if anyone, I don't think anyone will ever give up a win, because obviously you still get plenty of points for a win, but it'll just be interesting to see, yeah, people are a bit sort of tactical with this. They always find a way, don't they, in the Jackocar Cup Series?
They sure do. Sorry, not to answer your question. I've just spooked myself by wondering why Chris Waits is out doing his laps already. The reason for that is because of the rule change in qualifying. So rather than as we always used to do it, the chase drivers would be the first 10 out, and then the playoff drivers would be the last 10 out, and now it is still based on points. But a flaw in that. That will change after this race once the points are corrected, because everybody will be given 1,000 if they're in the playoffs and 500 if they're in the chase. So it's one of those unique things that I've overlooked, which will just correct itself next week as Chris Waits, Owen, begins his lap. I don't know who you're looking at.
I was going to look at what's his face, Robin, since he was first on track, but I suppose yes, we should really look at the playoff driver. This is, I suppose, the other flaw of having a fast 9 is that one of the 10 playoff drivers this week was going to miss out on it. And yeah, that's Waitsy. I mean, if it tips down and we get a wet end qualifying, I mean, it's plenty of grey clouds out there, could happen, then yeah, that'll work out well for him. But I'm sure that won't happen, but it really does look grey out there, so we'll see. As Waitsy looks like a pretty clean lap so far. He's been a bit anonymous. I don't know if that's sort of rude to say he's been a bit anonymous this season, but we're yet to see a proper sort of barnstorming drive from him yet. And I'm hoping maybe this playoff campaign, if things finish the way they are right now, which is very unlikely, he would be the driver eliminated because he's 10th by default. That's just where he is. So yeah, I wonder if we're going to see the sort of massive performances that we would see from the likes of a Jake O'Sullivan or Ben Shaw or something like that in a playoff campaign. As through the Casio Triangle comes Waitsy, and this is going to be the 3rd lap time of the evening. Will it be the fastest? Yes, it will. 128.7. No idea where that is in comparison to the fastest times we're expecting, but we will find out in time. Looks like Baz is running an ING Renault livery, and he is our Joker driver tonight, so we'll be keeping an eye on him. And I'm always a fan of people replicating this livery. I think Gareth did a good one a couple of seasons ago, and this one, full marks. Hope you win the race. Just massive fan, but you're slowest so far, so you've got to get a move on, Bazza. Look at that, Jacko. Do you not think that's a fantastic livery?
Of course I do. It's Bazza. He always turns up for the livery game, doesn't he? Whilst you mentioned the Joker there, I thought I'd check to see any previous Joker winners in Japan in Cup Series, and we have never ever had one. Which brings me on to the next thing I had to say to you, and makes this even more impressive, is the fact that Leroy Haselager is a previous race winner here. So he did that genuinely, I recall, in Season 8, without a Joker. But other race winners here are Corey, Kieran, Kyle, Arnaud and Thomas Stulin. It's the only multiple race winner we've ever had here, Jake O'Sullivan. And the last time he won here, the first time he won here was Season 6. That was 3 years ago. And the other thing I should say is the last time that Japan was round 11 was also Season 6 when Jake O'Sullivan won. So is that a good omen halfway through the league and bookending at the end of my tenure as the host of Jackocar?
Well, we like a good
Make of that what you will. I thought I'd go and find a stat for you, so there you go.
Yes, I'm trying to find someone on a lap, and we haven't got anyone at the moment, which is a shame.
Okay.
He was in the gravel at the start of his lap, so...
okay.
I wonder, to be fair, he has charged the battery up, so we might be about to see a lap. And we will indeed. So let's ride on board with Michael OKK and see how he gets on. The S is, like I say, that's where he went off. Easy to get it wrong if you hit the curb too hard, if you're running too little rear wing, if you have any sort of damage, which we saw Jack Craig for a split second there. He had half a front wing left on the car, so if anything goes wrong, you'll be off here. And you can see OKK not even bothering with the curbs. That's a nervous looking driver right now, but he, let's say, was off. Those are his gravel marks that he's just driven through there. And well, this is probably going to be his only competitive lap, and it's ruined. Yeah,
invalid.
Well, how long's he got? Well, he's got to be across the line on what, 9 minutes. So if he's got the fuel in the car, and he does, then he'll have to go again. But that's nervy moments for him. Baz is invalid as well, but as you can see, he's harvesting, and let's see if he can improve on that 4th place, which is where he stands at the moment. He's the last driver to win on a Joker, isn't he? He may well forever be the last driver to win on the Joker if the way this game's tyres work stays consistent throughout the coming seasons. He won in
Who's that? Sorry, Owen.
Monza last season with Baza, our last Joker winner. Unless I'm making that up, but I'm pretty sure we haven't had one since, because the race after that was Championship 5. Then we're on to this game where you can't do a Joker, but it looks
Well, did Baza do it legitimately? Was it a pure Joker?
I think so. We celebrated it a lot of the time, didn't we?
We celebrated a Baza win.
It was a Baza win,
I have down here.
I thought it was on a Joker. I could be making this up.
He may well have been on a... May well have been, but yeah, he's not as much... I mean, I could be wrong here, but the last Joker winner I have is Corey Dalton at round 6 Monaco last season.
Oh, well, fair enough then.
But it could be Baza, so
I feel like
someone's going to have to check that.
I feel like Baza got to re-roll on his Joker after Russia was a bit of a shambles with the way the Jokers work, because you ended up with Arnold and Baza being like 1-2, and then a lot of people complained. I forget exactly what the problem was, but I thought the pair of them got to re-roll their Joker for Monza, but then Arnold ended up crashing out of Monza, and Baza got the lucky timing on the pit stop, etc. Either way, right, he's on the Joker tonight, so we'll see if he can sort of set us straight and win tonight. That's your job. Nice. Just not even attempted to take the cashier triangle there. That was pathetic, Baza. He wasn't going to improve his lap time anyway. Sits P5 at the moment. Jamie Griffithson in front of him. He's on a good run of form at the minute, it has to be said. P9 in the playoffs, and well, he's behind Waitsy at the minute though, isn't he? Those two in this mini sort of first portion of qualifying need to be, I suppose, just focusing on each other. And at the minute it's Chris Waits who's beating his playoffs rival at the moment. But there's still time for Jamie to get something done. But he's too slow on this lap, and he won't be allowed to start another one without picking up a drive-through penalty, so he might as well box it, and he will. So P4 is the best he's going to do for this first portion. But Waitsy was a quarter of a second up in Sector 1 on this current lap. So let's see if he can keep that pace up, set a good benchmark for the Fast 8 it'll be, because we will not have Corey Dalton out there. And you can see Mike Keltborn and Casper Klein have already retired from the session. So let's see.
Corey Dalton, of course, anticipating another Jackocar baby on the way. His missus is still holding that thing inside of her at the minute, which is quite impressive because it should have been due 2 days ago. But he's telling us it could be any time up until my birthday, November the 4th. Remember the date, everyone?
Waitsy's gone fastest. Just wanted to move on quickly because I'm just on.
Owen didn't want any part of that conversation.
Yeah. No, it's funny because just on Jackocar drivers awaiting births of children. The last one I can remember happening during a race event. Do you remember when Arnon in the Championship 5 season 8? It was all about
that was baby on the way.
Yeah, what was going to happen first? Him finishing that race, or his child be born? And it was a very tight one in the end, I think. He just about got the race done and had to rush off to meet his new child. It was a very chaotic night for him. That's probably why he didn't win that title. He won the last one though, so made up for it. You can probably look back on that season 8 race with quite a lot of good memories, I would have thought. But anyway, we're at the end of this first portion of qualifying, and Waitsy is fastest at the end of it, so he's done his job so far. Now it's up to Pete Knighton, who currently sits behind Wes Kuba at the minute, who's the only person who has a point in the chase. Ben Harrett as well is ahead of him. Ben yet to go yet, and Wes up in second place. But Pete, what's the number again, Jacko? There was a while where I was good at keeping track of it, but I've lost count.
Well, once you run out of fingers, it does get rather difficult, doesn't it? But if you let me stall long enough, I'll have the answer for you momentarily.
Oh,
Here we
great.
go. Pete
Don't
Knighton.
have enough fingers nearly to keep up with this,
193.
Yeah, we are getting quite close, unless there's any mutants out there. Maybe that's what Corey's child will be used for, just an extra 10 fingers to help count. Pete's lack of wins in the Cup Series. We are approaching 6 years. It'll happen eventually. You've got to win at some point.
Let's just give Pete a moment here, by the way, because Cup and Kia combined, this is race start number 200 for the Season 1 champion.
That is an impressive stat.
That is impressive. And I tell you what, so Cup alone is 198. So in 2 races' time, which I think is November 20th, as he goes P2, November 20th will be his 200th Cup Series start. But 200 in Jackocar, that is no better or no more experienced driver than Pete Knighton.
And he's the fastest chase driver so far. He's done everything he needed to do with that lap. And now it's up to Ben Harrett to try and beat him.
Yeah, I said he's the most experienced. He's most experienced Cup driver. But in terms of Jackocar, Yori Hazalaga will be on 251 tonight, Michael Okeke 228, and Mike Kelsborn 214. So Pete is 4th all time in terms of experience.
Oh, bit of a moment there for Ben Harrett, but that's not going to beat Pete's time. So the 2 fastest drivers in the chase look to be 2 of the top 3 in the chase, and that being Wes and Pete. So Pete obviously quicker than Wes there. I think we're out of chase drivers now. Next up is Tony Kirkpatrick, and he'll be looking at taking down Waitse's time. He finally... Yeah, he's finally finding some form, isn't he? And this will be pulled by about 3/4 of a second, yeah. So, again, I don't know how representative this is. We'll see how Ben Shaw gets on next. He's got a pole position in him, hasn't he? And, well, it's not quite a regular season championship, but it's enough to put the gold back on the car, isn't it, for Ben Shaw? You can see the standards just slipping here week on week, but any excuse to get it, I suppose, and... Let's see if it brings him any speed. He's purple in the first sector, but as you know with Codemasters, that might as well... It could mean anything, that.
Yeah, you say Ben Shaw's got a pole in him. He's actually had 26 in him in the past. Of course, one more here puts him 1 away from the record. Khalifa 28. Ben Shaw sits on 26. Tonight would make it 27. Despite... If he were to get the pole, it is not worth a playoff point. So playoff points this season have come from wins, poles and fastest laps. But in the postseason, they are no longer being awarded. So it's going to be our closest postseason ever. And that is crucial when you're going to lose a driver every single week. But can Ben Shaw get anywhere near Tony Kirkpatrick's time? I tell you what, he's not far away, but he's lost all his energy, Owen White, as we come into the final corner. Where does the Season 8 champion go? Powers to the line, Ben Shaw. It's only P5.
Well, that is a surprise, because he... Well, and to be fair, right, he's less than half a tenth off being 3rd, so he's a bit unfortunate there, actually, but he would have been hoping to be closer to the front. Risky's been up at the front all season. He's been possibly the surprise package of the season. Can he continue this form onto the playoffs? He's gone 3rd fastest, just behind Waitsy there in 2nd. And, well, with only 3 drivers to go in qualifying, he's guaranteed to be on the 3rd row. So things are looking good for him at the moment. Here is a man who's won 3 titles, but has not looked on the pace at all this season. Jake O'Sullivan, although I will keep saying... Season 5, he didn't get his first win in Jackocar in general until that Championship 5, so he may not always be up at the front, but he always finds himself there when he needs to be, and at the moment it's just about getting to that Championship 5 for him and just hoping he can find some pace along the way. But let's see how he gets on with this lap.
Yep, Jackocar's very own Joey Logano, 3 championships, but always does just enough to get there, doesn't he? However, we were talking pre-stream that so easily could somebody like Jake O'Sullivan be knocked out in round 1. Let's find out as he heads towards the line. It's P2. That's a good lap.
And the reason we were saying that is that, if he gets caught up, or anyone really, or in the playoffs at the minute, gets caught up in a lap 1 accident, it could be enough to have you wiped out of the whole thing. Even if you're maybe not Casper, because Casper has 13 playoff points going into this. He might be okay if there's an issue on lap 1. But that'll only sort of give him 1 race of sort of freedom, let's say. And Johannes comes through. Johannes, who isn't on the qualifying list, so thank goodness he's been able to work out where he is. I think he's in the right place.
I told him it was my mistake.
So he's out there in the spot of Casper Klein, he's not qualifying but is qualifying at the same time. He would have been second to last out. So yeah, Johannes is in his place, which means R9's the only other driver out there to go, but we'll get on to him in a moment because here comes Johannes to the line. It's not going to be P1, it's going to be just P4 for him. And well, if we're on about the Joey Logano of the league, here's the Kimi Raikkonen of the league, as I discovered in Spa. A lot of freakishly similar statistics. He would like to beat all of them really this season and get himself up onto a second championship. I don't think there's any doubting that he's been the fastest driver this season, Jacko, but he needs to now really get on to winning form again.
Oh, big lock-up. Yeah, absolutely right. He certainly has it in him. He's lost races this season with just strategy mistakes, but as you say, the pace has been there. If it's not Arnaud, it's Casper. And speaking of Arnaud and Casper, they are level on the most fastest laps all time. They keep trading every single week. They're both on 22. That is a league record. But will one of them become a champion? However, Arnaud would be a back-to-back champion. Casper would be a first-time champion. And remember, nobody has ever retained a Jackocar title. Is Arnaud de Grief on his way to being the first ever driver to do that in 20 seasons and 6 years of Jackocar? He comes up to the line, 23 poles to his name. Can he make it 24? No, it's Tony Kirkpatrick.
And that was a lap that Tony set pretty early on in this qualifying session. So he'll be sort of doubly confident that he's been able to set pole while the track wasn't at its best. But Arnaud, front row, he'll take it. Jake O'Sullivan very much back on the pace, which is good to see. And Johannes, he'll have maybe wanted a bit more out of that qualifying session, but P5 will have to do for him. Waitsy, P4. I'm saying he's looking for that big performance. Wonder if that'll come tonight. Here's the grid then. Tony, Arnaud, Jake, Waitsy, Johannes, Risky, Pete, Waste, Ben Shaw and Robin in the top 10. The rest of them, including him, they're all there. You can read them. We don't care. And
including him.
Yep. We'll move on. Because I've not asked any of the drivers what the weather is for the race, but I feel like if it was going to rain, they'd probably have been panicking by now. But we'll see.
I hate to excite you, but somebody in the YouTube chat said that there might be a bit of precipitation, but I'm not going to tell you when. YouTube chat is alive this evening, Owen, by the way.
What's wrong with them?
I don't know. It's not even Dua Lipa fans, it's Jackocar club members.
Let me have a little look in the chat. Let's see how they're getting on. Well, if it's starting dry, then that'll make things interesting when it's going to rain because of relatively clear-ish skies, at least compared to qualifying. So it'll start dry and then get wetter than I'm assuming, Jacko.
Yes, you are correct. The sky gave it away there, didn't it?
Did a little bit.
Yeah. But this is the first time this season we've had all 20 full-time drivers on the grid. Of course, last week we had all 20, but there was reserves, wasn't there? Or was it all 20? I can't remember. But either way, back-to-back weeks, full grid. We are back to our very best.
Yeah, and I just seen, we were on about Leroy, weren't we, in qualifying, and he's in the chat as well. And since he's here, commiserations, obviously, that you're not here. He says he hates that he's not racing, but that's what happens when you cock it up in the regular season and don't make it into the top 20, and that really was an upset for him. And it looks to be, well, there's no way back from him in the championship now, is there? Even if a driver drops out now, that's just them out. You can't take their place, surely, once the chase has started.
Obviously, he can fill in, absolutely, as can the likes of Florian, Dustin, Quinn.
But not in the championship standings, I mean.
No. Just for making numbers up without sounding awful.
Yeah. And that's come about because basically we had an open championship for the first 10 races and we ended up with, 24, 25 drivers all taking part. Whether you want to include me or not is up to you. But the 5 lowest, or basically anyone lower than 20th in the point standings after the Austria doubleheader last week would be knocked out of the championship. Top 10 would be into the playoffs. Bottom 10 of that 20 would be into the chase. That's how we got to where we are now. And yeah, having the full grid of 20 is always nice to see as well. Quick livery check of the guys we didn't see in qualifying, just in case you've never seen them before. Casper has got some different colours on, and I'm a fan of it, naturally, because we like seeing new liveries. Not Arnold, no offence Arnold, but Corey's is probably still the best on the grid at the minute. Hope he never changes it, to be honest with you. I'm not even a Hamilton fan, but I mean, just look at the state of that car, it's just perfect, isn't it? Where's Baz's? Because it is a little bit clear right here now. I want to see how that one's looking. If he runs this for the rest of the season, it could become my favourite, but it's a very good effort so far.
Must admit, I like the one behind. Jack Craig, all in black and blue. Looks very good there in P14. And speaking of Casper, very quickly, before I let you do your pre-race rituals, I was having a little chat with him earlier, and I told him I have a weird feeling about him tonight. P20 on the grid. I can see him winning it, and I hate to call it, but something about Casper tonight in that car at this track in these playoffs. I think we could be looking at our first back-to-back winner this season. It would make it 4 on the season, it would make it 17 all time, and it would put him straight into round 12. Of course, winning you're in is still very much a feature. He doesn't need those points, but it could well be very useful as the postseason progresses, especially with how close it's going to be. Owen Wyatt.
Will win and you're in apply to the chase, considering it's now following the same sort of formula as the playoffs?
No.
See, that
is still
yeah.
chase rules.
So, yeah, fair enough then. We'll I'm glad we had that conversation before a chase driver goes and wins a race. That could have gotten quite confusing. But Casper, if he wins from the back here on this track where you can't really overtake, that would be properly impressive. But he's got Corey with him on the back row. What a back row that is! It has to be said. What a front row!
Stunning, isn't it?
Tony and Arnold, and look at them pointing towards each other. They know that this run down towards turn 1 is so vital, but it's Tony who'll be starting on the soft compound tyres compared to Arnold on the mediums. You would expect that the man on pole has, well, the doubly good advantage, being on the better tyres and being in the better grip position. But we'll find out when the 5 lights go out and the playoff campaign begins here in season 12. Boogity, 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 let's go racing in Suzuka. And indeed it is the best start you could possibly have imagined for Tony Kirkpatrick, who leads into turn 1. Arnold and a few cars off the back line now, but they're all keeping on going. Jake, Arnold, they follow along second and third place, and it looks like Jake's already trying to put a little bit of pressure on Arnold, our reigning champion. First time he's been champion heading into a playoffs. I wonder how the pressure will affect him. We've already seen him make mistakes this season. And Waitsy there ahead of Johannes, but Johannes all over the back of him. All 20 cars are still going, and it looks like
Casper up 4.
And he's at 5, yes. He's just gone up the inside into the Degners, and it's free wide as we have Corey Dalton going through as well, and poor old Baza going wide. Had to lose a lot of positions there to stay in the race. I don't think anyone's even got any damage yet. They've all been very clean out there. As Waitsy and Johannes, they had a little bit of a side-by-side moment, but it's Waitsy who stays ahead. Arnold to within 2/10 of Tony, and he's gone off at Spoon. Bit of dirty air there. That could be a warning. It could be a bad exit. It could be Jake O'Sullivan having a go at him, because they're already building a gap, these guys, to Waitsy, and that's why Johannes is so desperate to get past. Let's ride on board with Johannes as he surely tries to close in towards the Casio Triangle. But is there a move on the inside? Let's say he needs to get this done quickly, and he does, up into P4, and that's a vital move for him in this race. He can push up now to the guys ahead as Tony leads lap 1.
I've just watched the entire first lap of Casper Klein. He's up 7 positions to 13th in 1 lap. He's on his way, Owen, but it sounds all very exciting and also very clean as Corey Dalton makes a move for P15 into turn 1 on the inside of Jack Craig. Not quite doing it this time.
Had to back out of that very late there, did Corey, but good commitment from the pair of them to stay that close to turn 1 and not have an airplane crash, as we'll so often see in league racing here when people just don't want to give up the track position there. But Corey, I think he'll know he's got to get these moves done quickly. Seeing Casper, who started behind him, disappearing up the road will be slightly frustrating for the man, currently sat in 16th. It hasn't been a bad start, but he just would have hoped it'd be a little bit better. Where is Casper? He's just biding his time a little bit. Like I said, it's hard to overtake around here. Nearly impossible, you could argue. As Corey there does get past Jack Craig up into 15th place. We've got side by side and into the grass there with OKK and Mike Kelterborn. But yeah, I think Corey, knowing that Casper's getting away, that will upset him. Oh, Mike Kelterborn's going to crash, but we just want to see the end of Corey's move there on Yuri.
Oh.
I don't suspect Mike will have massive damage. It'll be a front wing, but no sort of massive floor damage. It's enough for a VSC, but nothing more. Will we see any pit stops? We do. Race leaders in. Tony pitting. And he only led the first lap, then Arnold led lap 2, I believe. And Jake's in. Johannes is in. A handful of drivers in here, and if we were expecting rain later on, this is clearly a pit stop to get them to the wet conditions. I don't think anyone has damage out there apart from Mike Kelterborn, so all these pit stops, bar Mike's obviously, should be pretty clean. So we go back to green flag racing. Casper is one of the drivers in the pits. He's onto the hards, that would suggest the rain's coming quite late. But out of the pit he comes, nearly loses it. But that was a cheap pit lane entry anyway for Casper. Did go green about halfway through his stop, but he'll have gained time there. Let's see. Oh, he's nearly off again. Gotta just keep this under control, Casper. You're in a good position right now. Mike, obviously, a long way behind now, but lucky to still be in the race. That was quite a big moment that he had coming out of the spoon curve. Johannes is all the way back at Risky. Risky, third place of the drivers who pitted. Tony obviously was race leader when he came in. He's in a pretty good position right now, in plenty of clear air, and he's got Jake a second behind. That looks like contact between Johannes and Risky, and Johannes are round the outside. This is going to be close, but if Johannes can stay there, he'll have the inside line for Spoon. Doesn't need to. He's already a whole car length ahead as he gets there, and he can now try and get up the road. He's up to what we'll say a net third at the moment. Obviously, there'll be a pretty massive tyre offset whenever drivers pit. I assume they'll be sent out for a while. So we'll see how this pays out. And of course, if we get a safety car or another VSC, that'll also cause problems. As Pete up into fourth here, ahead of Ben Harrett.
His arch nemesis. By the way, Johannes and Sullivan, no contact, but very close. And also, just a note for everybody, keep a reference of this, pre-pit stop, Jamie Griffiths would be eliminated if it finished like that. However, as it stands now, Ben Shaw is on his way home. And of course, does, however, hold that advantage of an early stop. So it's all up in the air at the minute. But remember, somebody gets eliminated from the playoffs tonight as Yuri passes Jack Craig for what is P17.
See, all I hope is that whoever is eliminated, and I'm going to hope this all the way through the playoffs, is that whoever's getting eliminated from these races, it's not through DNFs. I want to see this all sort of play out on track. Having all 20 drivers still in this race is a good sight after what can be a chaotic first lap around here, but they've all survived it, and I really want to see how this pans out. Baza looks to be the new driver out there that has some damage at the moment, by the way. He's missing his right hand end plate, but you've been making some noises, Jacko.
Yeah, I know. I think it might be my internet connection, because I saw Jamie Griffiths go off at Degner 2, and then when I switched to look at his onboard, he was right tucked up behind Ben Harrett still, so ignore me on that particular occasion. You normally ignore me anyway, so it's all fine.
No problem.
Mike Kelterborn.
No problem whatsoever in that request, Jacko. As round the final corner comes Wace, and he's in the DRS here off Weight C. And this is for second place at the moment. Like I say, if they get another sort of VSC or safety car, that puts their sort of pit strategy into good play, because then they'll have that tyre offset, but also not lose much in the pit lane. So these guys aren't out of it yet. It's just about how things sort of pan out. But we are expecting rain to come later on, and so this should be the only dry pit stop of the race. That second pit stop could be all sorts of chaos, but we'll worry about that bridge when we get to it. We'll cross that then. At the moment, riding on board with Wace, he looks pretty confident at the minute. He's got 4.5 seconds to Pete. He's the only driver in the chase who comes in with a playoff point, so he leads it by default. If things keep going like this, he'll still be leading it by the time we leave Japan. Baza, the reason he stayed out is because he has the Joker, but with the damage, it's costing him so much time. And you can see as Tony has taken Jake off into the barrier. And that was the pair of them sort of catching up to Bazza then, and Tony trying to avoid hitting the back of the ING Renault liveried car, but instead he hits Jake. And Jake, he must have some sort of damage from that. He does indeed. That's helped the guys who stayed out a little bit more, surely.
Yeah, well, Tony had two choices there. It was either hit Bazza or hit Jake. I don't think he had much in the way of going through the middle. But I know Jake certainly won't be happy with that, especially when he only comes into it +4. Tony Kirkpatrick also +4. So that's going to be a huge advantage, or disadvantage, sorry, for Jake O'Sullivan if it affects his race with that wing damage there. Does he make another pit stop this time around? I think he might just stay out and just deal with it. He's behind Johannes in P10.
He pits now at admitting defeat. I think he just has to stick with it as off the road and not quite into the wall goes Robin. I was about to say that Corey had gotten past both him and Casper, but now Casper is the car directly behind Corey, and those two may well have a battle at some point. But yeah, it's unfortunate that what happened to Jake, because I don't really think Tony had much of a choice. He's just sort of... I think he was trying to nick a gap on the inside of Bazza, but Bazza had every right to defend it. He did. And Tony broke a bit later because he had the grip. Oh, stays ahead of Casper. But yeah, but when Tony catches at the wrong point, yeah, if you brake too late, or not too late, but later than the guy in front of you, when you've got fresher tyres, that's naturally going to happen, and you don't want to hit the guy in front of you, so you try and swerve, and then it's just unlucky that he hits Jake. Jake's lost a lot of time to this. He's going to keep losing time. And Risky, well, he'll benefit from this. He could be in the fight for a podium before long if he sort of keeps his nose clean. And Jake, I mean, he's going off at Spoon there. That could be a warning. He needs to be careful not to pick up any penalties. Any later safety cars could spell the end of his championship if he gets any penalties.
What were we saying before the stream as well? We used Jake as an example of only being +4. We may well have manifested it into action here as Pete Knight and Pierce. Jake O'Sullivan facing elimination in week 1 of the playoffs, would you believe? As he's
into the pits. Well, I don't know if this... Well, obviously we don't know if it's going to work, but I feel like it's not the best option to pit. Maybe he feels like he's losing too much time. But this feels to me like a potentially season-defining moment, as you say, as we were saying before the race. A bad day for a driver in contention. It could lead them at the back. And if everyone have headed and finishes, then that's it. You're out of the championship.
Yeah.
Waste, by the way, fighting for second place. They've crashed. Yes, they have indeed. Into the hairpin. It looked like it was a sort of a normal move when we saw it happening on the timing screen, but it looks like they may have locked wheels and danced off the road together. There won't be any damage to that, or there'll be wheel-to-wheel contact. That leaves Arnold 13 seconds ahead of the rest of the pack.
It's a free pit stop.
Yeah, he'd be wondering...
It's life up front.
He'll be wondering what on earth's gone wrong behind him, but I'm sure it's not going to bother him. I wonder if he may take this opportunity to make his pit stop just while he's got the gap. Sort of less risk, but he'll stick with it for a while longer. Tony has got past Ben Harrett, and he's still powering on here, you know. And he's got OKK next, Jamie, Waitsy, Waste. I mean, they're all on his sights at the minute. So and Jamie Griffiths into the pits. So yeah, Tony, despite the incident earlier on, he didn't actually lose too much time. He must have lost maybe 2 or 3 seconds at most. So yeah, we'll continue to follow his progress. How are Corey and Casper getting along? Well, Casper looks very, very hard to sort of control that car out of the corner, but he's ahead at the minute of Corey.
Well, when Corey was in front, he was the slower car. Casper's got past him, and now Casper's a slower car. And in turn, they've brought Ben Shaw into the fight. So it's a freeway fight for what is P10 on the road right now. All 3 of them, though, have made a pit stop, and they are on the hards until this supposed rain comes. But yeah, as you say, Casper really, really struggling. I may have to withdraw my comment from earlier about him possibly winning this race, because he's not looking as settled as he was when he was on the mediums. But Ben Shaw was just waiting for his opportunity because he sees fireworks. It's Corey and Casper. There's gonna be fireworks.
And OKK, he's giving Tony a fair fight here, but he's staying ahead at the moment.
Love it.
Yeah, it looked like Tony was going to get through into the hairpin, but didn't happen. OKK got the better exit. He's got no energy left, though. Surely he's not even He's on 0 ERS uses. I don't think he was trying to make life difficult, but Tony just couldn't get the move done as quick as he would have liked. He's done it now. Gap
Chris
is...
Waits right up to Waze, by the way.
I was just going to say, Tony's gap to the leader, to Arnold, is, well, we'll see actually. It's 19 seconds, so I think he'll still be ahead after the pit stop, but I mean, Arnold's tyre offset is just going to be massive, and that'll give him maybe a second a lap, something like that. Johannes ahead of Ben Harrett, but again, looking at Corey and Casper, this is a proper fight, isn't it? And it's for P10 on the road at the moment. Corey around the outside, he'll have this, and he has. P9 he is in now, actually, because they've all passed away, so he's into the pits. Keep an eye on his first couple of laps, because they may be quick, being on the newer tyre. But Corey, back ahead of Casper. They're catching up to Bassett, who's already caused his fair share of problems tonight. So we'll see how they can navigate him. It's been a good race this so far, hasn't it, for Japan standards?
It sure has, yeah. I was just looking at Pete Knighton, as you said that. Very much in the fight as well himself. Back in the chase. Yellow flags.
Oh, well, I'm not saying it. Safety car deployed. And that's what you get. That's what you deserve. Hold on a minute. That's probably going to feed into his
look
kink.
where Arnold is.
Yep. First driver we went to.
Look where Arnold is.
And, well, perfect. That's what you stay out for. And Wace will be absolutely fuming at this. He just pitted on the last lap, and the free pit stop was coming, but not anymore. No. I don't know about that. I feel like I was on board with him. I don't think he did speed. I'm going straight to Jackocar on that one. Hold on, mind you, he's gonna have to take the penalty anyways, but I don't know if he actually did speed into there. Yuri has sped under safety car. Surely Arnold didn't speed into there.
No.
How could he have sped into there? I'm watching it back now. Surely not. He speeds up on the way in. I think he was fine. Well, do you know what? We'll get his point of view on it later on. But he's come out ahead of Johannes, ahead of Risky, who I said would be up in third. And I mean, Jacko, Corey and Casper have come out as P4 and P5.
Yeah.
So,
okay, I now unretract my non-retractable statement from earlier. Casper, top 5 from 20th on the grid.
How about this? How about this from Tony though? He's gone very racy for the soft compound tyres. I mean, the dark cloud just surrounding the circuit. This is his second stop. Obviously, it's going to be a short stint. This should get him to the rain period then. But it's a stop he didn't need to make. But yeah, he's going for the racy option. I suppose when the state of karate knew he wouldn't lead, so try something different rather than fall through the pack, be the guy coming through the pack. So I look forward to seeing how that pans out. But this track is getting very, very cloudy. So this rain, yeah, not far away.
Yeah, just to make a note on Call Me Daddy Owen, Mr. Hall, who races under that name, is not actually... Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm looking at it. I don't know if there's lag again, but I've just watched Jamie Griffiths drive into the back of Waze. Is there damage before I talk about Gareth? No, there's not.
No.
It's my internet. Anyway, Gareth Hall, it's not detrimental to his season just yet, because remember the chase drivers, they have the first 3 races before anybody gets eliminated. He is currently on 500 points, and because Mike Kelterborn had a penalty, he sits on 495, so he relies on Mike to actually score at least 5 points. That's 12th place to even draw level with him.
Arnold's taking a penalty here. Oh, is that? That's a... Oh, I don't know about this. I don't know about this at all. I know I'm interrupting you, but he's going to be last. I don't know if this is the right call at all for Arnold.
Well, I think
surely
it is.
You'd rather wait for the rain and then take it then. Maybe there's a bit of field spread by then. But then I suppose once it's done, it's done.
This puts him in the pack, doesn't it? Yeah, he's in the pack. So Johannes leads.
Yeah, look at that.
Wow.
Ahead of Risky.
He's not even going to be last.
Ahead of Corey. Ahead of Casper. What a lineup this is. Waitsy is the top driver then on new tyres. I said I wanted to see a breakthrough performance. This is the opportunity. Okay, by the way, I mean he's third of the guys on fully new tyres. He's weathered the storm. He's in a great position, but I do feel for Wes because he'd be right up there if it wasn't for him pitting at the lap before the safety car.
I'll tell you someone who doesn't feel for Waze, and he's currently the man sat on the sidelines.
Well, he's the one who caused the safety car as well. I mean, I wonder if
he did that on purpose.
Exactly, yeah. That was what an excuse that'll be as well. I'm sure he's thrilled, but yeah, this race really could do with restarting because I'm fascinated to see how this is going to pan out. Arnaud and Jake are 17th and 18th. Let me just check on the playoff points. I mean, I don't know about Arnaud, but the scenario is for Jake here, where if he's finishing here, he could be out of this thing. So, especially with Krawiecki and Jamie Griffiths are in okay positions, but this rail looks like it's going to come down at any moment. This could be such a messy restart, Jacko.
So hang on, Chris, Jamie, Sullivan, Ben Shaw. Where's Ben Shaw?
He's
P5. Yeah, at the minute, Jake is eliminated from this race because Arnaud has the playoff point advantage on him. He's +3 on Jake. Anyway, over to you. This is going to be exciting.
Yeah, and Johannes has got no pressure at all. I don't know why no one's catching him up here. Now, Risky's arrived, and he's missed the boat on that restart. I think Corey may have a chance here into turn 1. But Risky's got a good toe here on Johannes, and that's just going to keep him in second place. What about Casper and Ben Shaw? They're holding position as well. Up the inside, there goes West. He's already ahead of OKK, but OKK's going to fight back. And blocked by Pete Knighton, but still gets ahead of West. And now here comes Jimmy Griffiths. He's going to fade around the outside there. We do have a yellow flag. I think that might be what we saw last week, where when a safety car comes out, the yellow flag just stays on screen. So I apologise for that. Looks like Waitsy and Tony are having a go here at Ben Shaw. Oh, wow. And Ben Shaw, he had to fit into a very tight gap there to avoid taking his fellow teammates out of the race. Jamie and West still going for it. And look at Ben Harrett on the inside of West. And that's a big move to make on the soft compound tyres. Speaking of soft compound tyres, how's Tony getting on? Well, he's all over the back of Ben Shaw, but not making the move just yet. Frenetic stuff here. Here comes Ben Harrett again, and Wes is taking a very wide line, and he gets a penalty for it. But up at the front, it's Corey in second, Risky third, but here comes Tony, and he's up into 6th place. He'll be catching up quickly. Johannes is already a second clear of the pack, so things are going well for him. But obviously we're waiting on this rain now, and with every lap they do, the darker this track looks like it's getting, Jacko.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to do some maths at the minute. Jake's nearest competitor is obviously Arnaud, which is unrealistic. He needs to get to Ben Shaw, and then he needs to be within 3 positions of Ben Shaw. So at the minute, Jake needs P10 or P9, P10 to advance. Otherwise, he is going home. And that's, I mean, it's not unrealistic. It's only 4 positions away. But it's look at the mess he's got to get through to get there. Arnaud being one of those drivers. Ben Harrett would let him go. I'll tell you who won't, Waze and Jamie Griffiths. So this is in anyone's hands as we are coming up to the halfway point, only the halfway point of this race. It's probably been our best one this season. Fantastic stuff here. It's Suzuka.
And Tony's absolutely flying here. He's going to be up to 3rd place now, ahead of Casper. We saw him passing Risky on board, and now we've seen it happen against Casper. Is he going to come back? No, he's not. Tony is absolutely on one at the minute, and now we've got a yellow flag at the hairpin. Don't know what for. I hope it's not. It's for... Has Arnaud and Ben Harrett had an incident? Yes, they have. Arnaud's got huge frontline damage, and I mean, if he finishes last, enough things could still happen around him for him to be knocked out, and it'll all be his own doing, because even if he didn't, forget actually getting the penalty, making the pit stop under the safety car, put him in that position rather than leading from the front. I mean, we know he had the pace for that, and now look where he is with a massive amount of damage. I feel like Arnold, if he gets eliminated tonight, it's all his own fault. As Jake O'Sullivan, he's made up half the field already. He's into 9th place, and suddenly out of danger. Oh, contact behind. Wait, is he going to hit the wall? Yes, but not hard enough to do terminal damage. He'll come back onto the racetrack. And Arnold's in. He's going to be 18th and a long way off. If we get no more safety cars in this race, Arnold's in huge trouble.
So let me tell you how good this new playoff system is. Maybe not so good for Arnold, but Arnold comes into tonight P2, would you believe? Only Casper in front of him. As it stands, he's going to be eliminated in P10 and out, the reigning champion, out in week 1 of the postseason.
Look at this for the lead, by the way. Johannes is being caught by Corey, who's being caught by Tony, and these three are going to be pushing each other right up until the rain arrives. And, I mean, Tony's obviously surely the fastest of the three on these soft compound tyres. Yes, they've got 4 laps on them, but a couple of those were behind safety car. They should be relatively fresh and still easily raceable. As Corey has a bad run there through the Casio triangle. Johannes has gone for the pit lane. Interesting call. Obviously, I mean, there's nothing stopping them making their second pit stops now. Maybe they don't think the rain's going to be bad enough. Tony must do. He's into the lead now on these soft compound tyres. But Johannes, this is a perfectly fine second pit stop. And if he thinks this isn't going to rain enough, then this could be the running strategy.
Yeah, and it's a call he can make because he's more than 2 positions clear of Arnold, because he's only 2 behind Arnold, so he's got to be 2 in front and then could match him on count back because they've both got 2 wins this season. Am I correct? I think I'm correct. So yeah, great play from Johannes. It is essentially a free pit stop. The points don't matter providing you beat the driver you need to. Don't be last is the key to this new format, and already in week 1, Owen, it's throwing up all sorts of surprises as Waitsy gets by on Casper for P3.
Yeah, Casper was all over the place, good to the hairpin there, and Waitsy got through with no real issues whatsoever, and he's having a great race so far. Casper, I mean, it's not too bad from last place. Corey from 19th as well up there in 2nd place. Ben Shaw's up there, Pete up there, Risky up there. A load of speed drivers up there. They're having a good run, but look at Jake O'Sullivan. He is still on a charge, and he's got OKK right behind him still. So let's see what the progress is like. Let's ride on board. Is down the inside. He has a think about it on Risky, does Jake. Corey now into the pits as well. And so we're seeing dry strategies being performed out there. So obviously we said there might be a chance of rain. Maybe your sources, Jacko. Well, maybe they don't think it's going to rain hard enough. I mean, it's definitely getting darker.
We were wrong as well, Owen. It sure is. 2 laps ago, Jake O'Sullivan was going home. He's now one of the lead playoff drivers once again. It's mental. But yeah, perhaps no rain on the way.
Well, get Gareth on the phone.
Hoping it is.
Get Gareth on the phone. What did his race director say was going to happen for him? Seeing as he's not in the race anymore, he must have
left the session.
But I'm sure you can message the man.
Come back.
Sure, you can irritate him on Twitter. Not on Twitter, he doesn't use Twitter, does he? I'm sure you can irritate him somehow and get that information out of him.
Helping his speed colleagues. Hang on, let's see what we can do here. What do you want me to ask the good man?
Is there any rain coming is really what we need to work out at the moment. Because it gives a lot of context as to what's happening with these pit stops when you've got people out there making second mandatory dry pit stops for more dries rather than for what we were thinking might happen as wets. I mean, we've got Tony out there on the soft compound tyre. He must think there's rain coming. They're not going to get to the end of the race. Mind you, he can make his second dry pit stop whenever he fancies, I suppose. He has to make one in the second half of the race, and he hadn't got there by the time he put the softs on. But still, the point stands.
Casper pits.
Casper in as well. And the 2 behind him. Oh, and Pete pushing Ben Sean there. I was worried that I might have given Ben a speeding penalty, but they get away with it. And yeah, looks to me like business as usual in terms of pit stops. Yeah. Here's Johannes.
10 laps to go then.
He'll get ahead of a lot of them. Bassett has to be said, Baza, I know he's got a penalty, but Baza is well, he's the leader at the minute. That's as simple as that. He's the leader at the minute, but those tyres are pretty shot already. I mean, they're going to be horrendous by the end of the race, but this is the Joker playing out better than we've seen it play out really for anyone so far, apart from maybe Leroy in Baku, but that obviously fell apart very quickly. But we're into the well into the second half of the race, and he's actually in a not too bad position. He will lose track position to Johannes pretty quickly here. There he goes up the inside into the hairpin, and that is job done. Or is it? Will Baza have a go on the exit? Not enough speed.
Word from Gareth, there was conflicting information. Race engineer said 15 minutes. However, the game said 45 minutes, which would put it at the very end of this race.
Right.
And Gareth also continued by saying he imagines the last few laps, so yeah, that confirms that.
Yeah, so
Tony
everyone
Pitts
making
from the lead.
I suppose if everyone makes that second stop, then it doesn't affect anyone really, does it? It gives Arnold a bit of hope because everyone pits and comes back out on the track near enough around him. As Johannes, what a move that was into the Casio triangle. That was a very well driven piece of defending as well from Jack Craig for there not to be any contact. Good racing. And Baza, well, he's into the top 4 now, and that's genuinely second place when all these pit stops come through. He's just got to keep doing what he's doing.
Holds off Jack Craig.
You'll see that on his first pit stop he did change the front wing as well, so he's got the full complement of his car here, and well, he's got every right to fight for this. But Tony, he's now stuck behind Jack Craig, and he's got Corey Dalton for company. And Tony catching up to where Baza is at the hairpin where it all went wrong for him and Jake earlier on. I wonder what the nerves are like catching up to Jack Craig and Baza at the same time. They might just hold off there. And will Corey nearly hit him? He does nearly hit him. Just backing off. Will he have thought he could have gone on the inside there? Hindsight may well have said yes, but here comes Tony on Jack Craig. He has to use the energy now, but they're both catching on Baza. Be careful into the spoon curve. And Baza defending. Tony ahead and Corey well off the road, but I think Tony's survived the worst of this here. I say that, he's just hit the back of Baza, but he'll have the overspeed. And, well, a nervous few moments there for the once raised leader, but he's back ahead of Baza. Corey, though, he's still behind Jack Craig. He's up the inside of him now. Didn't make the cleanest move in the world because he got all over the curve there. Didn't really spat him out into Jack Craig again, but late enough on the brakes to make it stick. And more pit stops ahead. Jamie Griffiths has been in. Wait seat. Now, one of him and Jack Craig and Yuri are the only ones who need to make another mandatory stop, pretty much, I think. So the question is, when's the rain going to come? Because Wait seat has 10 seconds here. I mean, that's plenty of time. If he can make it to the rain, if it's coming, then he'll be on for the win.
Yeah, Waitstee is he's just led his second ever lap in the Cup Series in what is now his 11th start. He's having the race of his life, of course, by default, as you say, Owen. He come into tonight P10 and at risk of elimination, but he's doing everything right. He's actually playing out the strategy in the first half of the race what Arnaud did, so hopefully when he does make his second stop he doesn't speed into the pit lane and ruin his entire evening, because he's on for a very good result here, which puts him in a good place for next week.
Arnaud,
what does he do here on lap 19?
Arnaud's still in 17th place. I'm sure you've got your calculator right, Jacko, but that can't be good news.
Well, put it this way, you don't need your calculator out. He is going home as it stands. The nearest driver to him in the playoffs is Sullivan, who's P10, so that's 7 positions. But of course Sullivan had 4 playoff points, so it's a net 3 that he needs. So Arnaud needs to be, well, Sullivan's just moved up, Arnaud needs to be P12 to advance. He needs a safety car.
There is a cluster of cars that he is going to be coming up to soon, assuming he has pace, and he should do. So we will keep an eye on him, but yeah, not looking great. That was Risky and Jake fighting there, by the way. So Risky Yeah, doing well to still be ahead and catching up to Ben Shaw. Obviously, penalties are involved here as we have OKK off, and I don't think he's hit anything, but that's going to be another place for Arnaud, which is good news for him. And will West get through as well? Yes, he will. So Arnaud up to 16th now as Ben Shaw comes through on Baza, and Baza doesn't fight it back. Sadly, he just doesn't really have the pace to hang about with these guys, even though he's on a joke. Well, probably because he's on a Joker strategy. But saying that, Jack Craig's disappeared up the road ahead of him, so he's got pace, and he's having a strong day.
He sure is, but a monumental 7 laps for Arnaud if he wants to save his season. I know you say he's coming up to a cluster, but
Waitsy's in. Waitsy's had enough of those tyres. I think he's also decided the rain's not coming. I don't know, I think Arnaud might be okay. This might come down to the calculator, as we have Risky into the side of Baza, and that's front wing damage. That's not going to be good news for him in the closing stages of this race. And here comes Jake O'Sullivan as well. And will Jake get through? He does. Baza give him a little love tap on the way through. There's Waitsy in front of these two. They're going to have to be careful not to hit him. And Waitsy, he'll disappear up the road then, surely. A yellow flag is at the free. Who's that for? I think that's a Waste. So that's an Arnaud up into 15th. So, and he's got P Knight right in front of him. So 14th is there. I mean, hang on. I think he's doing fine here.
It's all just changed in the last few seconds because Jake O'Sullivan was P10. He's now moved himself up to P9. But you say Baza has wing damage?
No, so Risky has wing damage.
Oh, Sullivan. Okay, so what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 positions. Arnaud needs 3 of them to advance and knock Jake out of the playoffs. Oh, and it's coming alive. 6 to go in Suzuka.
Meanwhile, fight for the lead. Tony all over the back of Johannes. I'm surprised he didn't actually go for it into the hairpin, but he's hanging back a little bit. I think he knows he's got the speed here. He's got the tyres. He's got the grip he needs. He just has to find that opening. And that opening should come on the way down towards turn 1. And for Tony, that's a good exit. He was on pole position. He's had his fair share of incidents today, but he's up for the lead now, and he's going to take it. I don't think Johannes is going to defend it. He's got nothing to defend it with. And Tony leads once again here in Japan.
Yep, I wonder if Pete Knighton, going back to Arnaud, I wonder if Pete Knighton knows how desperate he is. It is literally 3 positions, but Sullivan is now dropping down the order. He puts himself at risk because he's level on points with Jake O'Sullivan. So Sullivan Lewis, Sullivan and Sullivan, yeah. Sullivan Lewis is the man who Arnaud is targeting. And here he goes through on Pete around the outside of turn 1. Oh.
Doesn't happen for him. I tell you what, Jake made a fantastic move on Jack into turn 1. That was a very sort of tight manoeuvre, really. If that went slightly wrong, as it starts to rain. Oh, what was Waitsy going to be thinking there? He could have stuck it out, I think, but he's going to be rapid on these shots. But yeah, if he gets that slightly wrong, Jake, then that's an accident. But now in these wet conditions, will it get wet enough for intermediates? That's the question. I mean, Waitsy's on sticky, fresh softs. He might be okay, but 6 laps of rain. I mean, that'll get the track plenty wet enough, surely, for intermediates. But we'll have to wait and see. This is a very sort of tense ending, and we're going to get this every week, by the way, people, because we're going to be losing a playoff driver every week. So yeah, everyone have the calculators at the ready, because this is going to become the norm for the next few weeks. Maybe not with this sort of weather involved, but yeah, certainly we've seen plenty today to sort of give us fuel for the rest of the season. I'm looking forward to it. But Risky, he's now got past Jack Craig as well, and
this has made Arnaud's life more difficult. That's all that's done. He needs 4 positions, and Pete Knighton, if he's listening to the stream, he's going to make life difficult for Arnaud. But through he goes on the outside. That's 1, but it's still 3.
Oh, off goes Robin! Needed. I thought he was going to take another car with him there, to be honest. He may well still, as he comes back on ahead of Arnaud. Look at where Arnaud is on his outside. Oh, doesn't get through. That's going to lose him more time. This is not what he needs right now. It is a position to be gained, but 5 seconds to the next car. And he's stuck behind someone who's just been off. The tyres on Robin's car are going to be absolutely boiling. So, not going to be very quick at all. And Arnold, he's in a very, very tricky position here. I cannot believe the reigning champion is in this position. And again, I have to reiterate it. It's all his own doing. No one's done this to him. He speeds into the pits under safety car conditions. Pits on purpose during that safety car to take the penalty, and then has an accident while at the back of the pack, and it's put him here with 4 laps to go. I mean, oh, how on earth does he get himself out of this one? As he comes to the inside of Robin, he's 6 seconds behind Mike Kelterborn. This is going to be such a difficult chase. As Robin, he thought about it, but he doesn't get back through. Arnold up to 13th now.
He needs 2 places. He needs 2 places, Owen. Otherwise, we're saying goodbye to Arnold. Remember what I said in the chat last week? Whoever gets eliminated in round 11 will be the earliest elimination ever in Jackocar history. And it looks like it's going to be Arnold de Grief, the reigning champion. We've prided ourselves, or we're proud of ourselves for never having a back-to-back champion, and it looks like with 4 laps to go, it may well continue in that fashion. Arnold trying everything, but 6 seconds is a hell of a gap. And then when you look at the cars, he's got to pass Mike and Jamie Griffiths. It's not going to be easy, but is there going to be fireworks between Jamie and Bazza? Because that could be the 2 cars that puts Arnold into next week's race and would knock Sullivan Lewis out, who has a 3-second penalty.
I think rain is Arnold's friend right now, isn't it? Because if he can keep this on the road, the guys ahead of him who are fighting are going to find this harder and harder to sort of manage. I think this is going to help him to catch them up. He's already gained about 1.5 seconds on this lap. It's just about enough to get to the back of that pack, but not enough to get past them. Jamie's on the back of Bazza. And in fairness, Bazza and Mike Kelterborn have penalties, as now does Jamie Griffiths. So really, actually, all Arnold has to do is get within range. If we have a pit stop, Jack Craig, he had to make that pit stop, remember. But, I mean, what's he going to put on? Is he going to be the guinea pig for intermediates? Has he got... I think it's going to be new softs, isn't it? It's just not getting wet enough, is it, for intermediate tyres? It'll be new softs. So Arnold... I mean, I think Arnold, again, I've said it already, I think he'll be absolutely fine. He doesn't have to actually pass anyone now. I think he'll be more than fine. I think we'll see him next week. Famous last words.
It's not. He doesn't want to do it like this. I mean, I've said for years gone by, you can allow yourself 1, maybe 2 bad races, but now the mass of playoff points that was available is now gone. You can't afford 1 bad race, and if this is going to be Arnold's bad race, it's going to put him way down in like P9 or P10 should he advance. And he won't want this stress every single week. Casper Klein, meanwhile, doing exactly what he needs to do. Comes in plus 13, finishes well, up in P4. He'll take that. He'll have no stress next week. He can allow himself a bad race, but the rest of them, they just cannot have it. But as you say, Owen, Arnold is doing enough now to recover himself. Sullivan Lewis's penalty that he got is going to knock him out, potentially.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? That you end up with playoff drivers all in the top positions at the moment. Are we definitely sure we've got them at... Yeah, I can't believe it. All the top 9 are chased. So surely...
Oh, now pits!
Oh. Hello. That's the wrong decision, isn't it? Well, obviously that's a wrong decision. That's going to cost him. I was just going to say...
What is he doing?
Surely it would have been Jamie Griffiths, who is... the one who'd be getting knocked out. But if Arnold gets this it's on for new softs, I don't think he realises he's in trouble. I think
he thinks playoff points are still available.
I think
they're not.
I think that's the truth of the situation. I actually think Arnold's not aware of the problem, but surely if what's Jamie Griffiths' penalty? I don't know, how the hell did you check penalty? He's coming.
Well, hang on. So the gap between Jamie and Arnold is 7.
Right, so he's gonna finish P9 is Jamie, I think. No, so he will finish P9 because the two behind him have 6 seconds of penalties each. So Arnold finishes 16th.
Arnold, he goes through on countback, but he can't afford Jamie to make up a position, and he can't afford to. Well, he won't lose anything unless he spins. But
yeah.
What? Oh, Arnold, why are you making life difficult for yourself?
You know what? He's made it so difficult that Jacko, you forgot to say your line.
Oh well, it is. That's how exciting it's been, everybody. Would you believe? Here we are at turn 5 or 6. It's 1 lap to go in Suzuka.
Yes, I actually think, yeah, we've been doing all those miles for the wrong driver because it was Jamie Griffiths really was the one at risk.
It was exciting though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was taking your word for it before I decided to look at the stands myself. As it turns out,
Jamie Griffiths has no right being at the playoffs.
Talking a load of nonsense, actually. But oh, hold on a minute, we got a yellow flag.
Hold up.
Is that for? Is it for Baza?
No.
I don't think it's for Baza. I thought that was for a lapped car, so maybe it's no, not OKK either. It was someone around where Corey was. But I can't for the life of me figure out who it was. Okay. Well, we're all still going. Arnold's all on his own out there. So unless he drops it, he'll be fine. He's going for the fastest lap. It's worth absolutely nothing to him. I mean, it's raining as well, so I'd be surprised if he gets it.
Other than being the outright fastest laps leader of all time, that's all it would give him.
Well, I'm sure he can have that. Tony can come through the Casio Triangle and is about to see the checkered flag here in Suzuka. What a start to his playoff campaign as he takes the checkered flag to win in Japan. Johannes is second and Corey will be third, some way behind our leading two, and he'll then be followed home. It's all playoff drivers here, isn't it? I mean, Casper, Waitsy, Ben Shaw, Jake, Risky, and Jamie Griffiths, who we think is going out here. We think.
It's going to take some mathematics after this, but Jamie Griffiths, confirm, will he be P9 or will those penalties for Mike and Baz put them up? Spinning across the line is not the sort of thing to do.
Yeah.
He stays P9. So that means Arnold needs P16.
Which he's currently in, and is he coming out of the final corner? Doesn't look to be dropping it. Will he get a fastest lap? No. And he's 15th. So head of West.
15th. Which means he advances into the next round by a single point.
Well,
how much stress do you need? He's lost.
I don't think he'll have known a thing about that. Genuinely, I don't think he'll have known a thing about any of that.
Well, clearly, because you wouldn't sabotage yourself like that.
Yeah, so I think all the stress is probably in the commentary box. I think as far as he was concerned, that was fine. He's lost a win. That's annoying. If he realised he was in championship peril, that would have been a bit more stressy for him. But I don't think he had any idea, to be honest with you. And I'm sure someone will probably tell him, "Do you realise how close you were to being out of this?" But he's in. That's all that matters. He can move on to next week. And we lose Jamie Griffiths then, our first victim of the new playoff system. Gareth is telling the chat that Arnold's out, is he? Or is he just taking a mick out of Jamie there? But I think Gareth seems to think that Arnold's out.
Arnold is in. Because Jamie come into this with no playoff points, but Arnold had 7.
I'm sure this all
finished within 5 places.
Yeah, this will give a few heart attacks. This, I think, in the chat, because this is
1,
everyone.
2, 3, 4, 5,
yeah, so
6.
So Jamie knows he's out because even he's correcting Gareth, saying, you know, hold on a minute, it's me.
By a point. It's always by a point or count back, isn't it? It's crazy.
Well, let's confirm the top. Well, actually, we can't because that screen is going to go away. You can read. Tony won the race. That's all that really matters.
That's his 5th win in the Cup Series, by the way. Starting to rack him up now.
And we've got a bit of fighting going on in the chat as well. Let me guess. It's Casper complaining. Yep, it's Casper complaining.
You know, the complaining really is unnecessary. Just be thankful that you aren't called Arnaud de grief and you made life 20 times harder than needed.
Just going to ask Arnaud.
Exciting.
Like, if he was aware of how close that was. Because, I mean, I cannot believe he wasn't aware of what he was facing there with a low finishing position. But anyway, I'm sure he'll give us an answer at some point. Baz has said it now. He did his Joker strategy. He did one stop, started 13, finished 13. That's probably one of the more successful Jokers we've had this season.
That is the best Joker performance this season.
Yeah. But that tells us a lot, you know, because you're going to have the likes of Arnaud, I think, and someone else having a Joker in round 16. That's a bad time to have it. And Arnaud confirming to me he had no clue of how much trouble he could have been in there. Which I think we worked out based on how he was driving anyway. He hadn't a clue what was going on, and he's confirmed it. But yeah, I mean, he'll be a Joker, I think, won't he, in round 16? So if he makes it there, that's a really bad omen. And that's an element to the season that we were not expecting. A Joker being an outright disadvantage now. And we'll see that come to play, because all the fastest drivers wanted to use their Jokers in the playoffs because it should be an advantage for them. But now they're all going to have to take a difficult race. And when one bad race in these playoffs can have you out, then yeah, I'll be fascinated to see how that goes. But let's end this one here, shall we? Obviously, random calendar. We don't know what the track will be next week. Hopefully something like Monza. Give us a proper exciting race. That was a good one for Japan standards. But is it so? Next week we're racing, aren't we? And then after that we're taking the 2-week break.
I'll be on holiday. You know, don't worry about me. But yeah, you're correct. One more, and then 2 weeks off, and then the run-in. 5 races to go to complete season 12. Right.
Well, let's end this one here then. Cheers for watching, people. Especially because in the YouTube chat, people actually seem to show up for once. And yeah, we will see you next week then. Safe travels and take care.